Hi everyone and welcome back to Stuck in the Mud. I just wanted to follow on from my last video when I was talking about kind of getting to the rock bottom place with OCD and anxiety, and I got quite upset in that video, and looking back it really brings all the emotion back and kind of talking about it again, and it kind of makes you realise that there was a lot going on at that time, and things do get difficult sometimes. And you know what, and the OCD and anxiety that I've experienced for probably the last almost 40 years, because I have had it on and off for 40 years, in times of stress and in times of change, in times of difficulty, these kind of behaviours that I had with my OCD can resurface again. And it's just about remembering the treatment that works for me. And also you're going to find that there's a treatment that works for you. There is help, there is hope. Everyone's different, so one treatment might not work as well for you as it does for the other person, but there is effective treatment available. Coming out of the last kind of rock bottom place I was in a couple of years ago, I was seen after I was seen with the crisis team. That kind of went on for quite a while afterwards. I think it went on quite a few months. They used to come and see me every week, and then it went to maybe every 2 weeks, or every 3 weeks, or maybe then every month. So it kind of spaced out as the time went on. And everybody's recovery from OCD and anxiety is different. And it doesn't take the same amount of time. It's not linear, it's not a straight path to recovery. There's going to be lots of ups and downs, when you're feeling like great and you're feeling like everything's working for you, the treatment's working. Maybe you're on antidepressants like I was and still am. Or maybe you're having talking therapies, whether it be CBT, exposure and response prevention, or metacognitive therapy, which might have been more the latter. CBT wasn't really effective for me, and that's something I'll probably delve into in another video. But it works for some people, and everybody, like I say, everybody's different, and that's okay. But for me, I then re-engaged with my psychologist again, and she was doing the metacognitive therapy with me alongside me taking my new medication, which was Effexa, which is also known as venlafaxine. I also struggled a bit with that at first because I didn't feel like it was doing anything for me. It was hard coming off my older medication, which was the Anfranil, which is the clomipramine. That didn't really work for me so good at first. And then as they upped my dose, because it was a gradual thing, they upped my dose and things started to get better, but it wasn't perfect. So we added in the clomipramine again, although wary of the reaction I had after the pregnancy, for some reason. No one can seem to explain that. But they added a smaller dose of that in because I wasn't really seeing all of the intrusive thoughts going away as much as they did last time. But there could be other factors involved, like I say, my age. Things can be different, and sometimes medication just doesn't work for you anymore. I know people that have been on medication a long time will find sometimes it just, I think everyone calls it poops out. It just doesn't work anymore, So there can be a lot of factors, but I wouldn't say it's perfect even now. I do have to remember the treatment. I have to remember the metacognitive therapy and the exposure and response prevention therapy, and just do the things that I know work for me, and make things a lot easier. So like I say, it's not easy, and you will one day feel like you're doing great, and the next day maybe not so much. It's very, very up and down, I think. And we're in challenging times at the minute, with we've had all the pandemic stuff, and then we've had like cost of living crisis. There's been lots of external factors as well, I think. So we just have to remember, these external factors, they're always going to be there. And it's just really finding the treatment that works for you and sticking with it. And it can be really hard and it can be really challenging. I understand that. But I have seen how well it works. And it's just a case of sticking with it and being committed to the therapy that you're going to do, because I've also found mixing things can also, it doesn't always work because you're trying to like take a bit of this, take a bit of that, and it's not as effective. I think you have to stick to the therapy that you're doing. And that has always worked better for me. I'd say, yeah, metacognitive has been the most effective over the years because I've kind of tried other stuff, but I've always come back to that, and that has been brilliant. So that is something I really want to talk about in another video because that has been amazing for me. I also wanted to talk about, because I was talked about in the last video, about the physical kind of side effects of anxiety and OCD. And I definitely had that after my last daughter. It was the physical things that were really scary, the really scary things I hadn't really experienced before, other than kind of panic attacks where I might have had stinging in my face or maybe felt a bit dizzy. It was so much more than that. It was like the depersonalization, and I kind of felt like I was detached from myself, and it was a really rough time, after I had my baby. And obviously I had an infection as well, and there could be a few other factors involved, but looking back on it now, I definitely think it was the postnatal anxiety that was causing a lot of these physical symptoms, and the headaches, the off-balance feeling, and it's scary. It was really, really scary because I was thinking to myself, am I going to be like this forever? Is this me now? I'm going to have all these, physical symptoms. I can't walk outside without wearing sunglasses because everything the brightness was just too much to handle. I'd have to wear sunglasses all the time because everything felt too bright. And I've since learned that is quite common with, I guess, like postnatal anxiety, health anxiety, because I was very conscious about things like that, and I was really preoccupied with all these symptoms, and it was really, really, really scary because I didn't think it would ever go away. But I'm pleased to say, and if you're going through this now, I want you to see there is hope and it will get better. I did notice a lot of release from these symptoms after I started the medication, and it's a really personal thing to start medication, and it's not always easy because you might have side effects, and there might be things that you're concerned about, and that's rightly so. It's just trying to find the thing that works for you the best, and it might not always be the case that you want to go down that route. You might want to go down the other therapy route, and you know what? They both work. I found that the combination of the two work best for me, but that's just me. So everyone is different. But yeah, I was pleased to say that I did start to notice release of these symptoms, like the floaters in my eyes, the brightness. I mean, oh my goodness, I was just so sensitive to light. It was unreal. I ended up having lots of eye tests. Like I said, I had a brain scan because they wondered if there's something else was going on, and that's right to do. You're right to do these things because I'd never experienced anything like that before. And then it was talked about that I might have labyrinthitis, and oh yeah, it was a frightening time, and I want you to know that you will get better. You will get better. I will get better. I do have my moments now. It's not, like I say, it's not always perfect. I'm going to have those dips. But I like to think of it as an opportunity now when those dips come, right, as hard as it is, I like to think, right, this is the opportunity to do what works. And it's not always plain sailing. It's not always easy, but you do see results. You do see results if you're committed and you stick with your therapy. And I just wanted to share that with you, because it can feel quite hopeless with anxiety and OCD, and I've been at some really dark places with it, and over the years, because it's something that, like I say, it's affected me since I was a little girl, and I've had, quite a few. Well, I'd say probably 2 or 3. I've mentioned it in other videos. I've had 2 or 3 really dark rock bottom places. But the latter with my daughter was probably the worst. So, with it, it was just the whole pregnancy thing, I think, coupled with it, and the pandemic and everything else that was going on in my life personally at the time, so I think that I've probably had a contributing factor to everything. But considering where I am now to where I was back then a couple of years ago is just miles away. I wasn't functioning at all back then. So you will get better. And I wanted to share that and give you hope, because this is not easy to deal with. I know that, and people can belittle it and not really understand how much it can affect your life, and you deserve to live a fulfilling life, we all do, and not have things like this hold us back, and that is my aim of these videos, really, to kind of remind myself, because I still need that reminder sometimes, and I think I want to work now going forward, helping people that have, that I can relate to, and you're going to relate to me, because as much as someone can study it, I don't think until you've experienced it, the depths it can take you to, and it'd be great if I can help somebody with these videos. So I hope this explained a few more things about after the other video, just really about how things kind of got better after then. So please remember to let me know in the comments down below how you're doing, how's it going, and if this has helped you at all, that'd be great to hear. And we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.